Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Workshop. I am Alex, and I am sitting here with my wonderful co-host, Amy. We are very excited about today's episode because we are tackling a topic that many of you have requested. We are talking about job interviews.
Hello, Alex, and hello to all our listeners. Yes, this is a huge topic. For many English learners, a job interview is the ultimate test. It can be very intimidating, but we are here to help make it feel a bit easier.
Exactly. Today, we are going to provide two mock interviews. One will be for a junior administrative role, and the other will be for a more senior management position. Between these interviews, we will stop and talk about the specific words and strategies being used, so you can use them in your own life.
Before we start the role play, Alex, do you remember your very first interview?
Oh, I remember it all too well. I was 17 and I was applying for a job at a local cinema. I was so worried about looking professional that I wore my father's suit, which was about 3 sizes too big for me. I looked like a child playing dress up. I was so nervous that when the manager asked me why I wanted to work there, I said, because I like popcorn. It was embarrassing, but I actually got the job anyway.
That is a great story. My first one was for a summer job at a library. I was so focused on using perfect grammar that I sounded like a robot. I spoke very slowly and used very formal words that nobody really uses in real life. The librarian looked at me like I was from another planet. I learned very quickly that while grammar is important, being natural and showing your personality is even more important.
That is a perfect lesson for our listeners. Employers want to hire a person, not a textbook. They want to see how you think and how you interact with others. So let us start our first mock interview. In this scenario, I will be the interviewer at a large law firm, and Amy is applying for the position of junior administrative assistant.
I am ready. Let us start.
Good morning, Amy. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Good morning, Alex. I am doing very well, thank you. I am very happy to be here.
Could you tell me a bit about yourself and why you applied for this role?
Certainly. I recently graduated with a degree in business administration, and I have spent the last year working as a part-time receptionist at a local community center. In that role, I was responsible for managing the front desk, handling phone calls, and organizing the weekly schedules for the staff. I really enjoyed the organizational side of the work, and I realized that I am very good at keeping things running smoothly in a busy environment. I applied for this role because your law firm has a reputation for being very detail-oriented and professional, and I want to start my career in a place where high standards are the norm.
Can you give me an example of a time when you had to manage several tasks at once? How did you stay organized?
At the community center, we often had several events happening at the same time. On one Saturday, I had 3 different groups arriving to check in at the same time as a delivery was being made. I dealt with this by prioritizing the people first. I checked everyone in quickly but politely while asking the delivery driver to wait in the loading area. I used a simple color-coded system on our digital calendar to track which rooms were being used by which groups. By staying calm and following my system, I managed to get everyone settled without any confusion or delays.
I like that. But what would you say is your greatest weakness?
I think my greatest weakness is that I sometimes find it hard to ask for help. Because I am very independent, I like to solve problems on my own. However, I have realized that in a fast-paced office, it is sometimes better to ask for clarification early on. I am working on this by checking in with my supervisor more regularly to make sure I am on the right track.
Thank you, Amy. One last question. Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
In 3 years, I would like to be a senior member of the administrative team here. I want to have a deep understanding of how this firm operates and perhaps take on more responsibility in coordinating larger projects.
Excellent. Thank you for your time today, Amy.
And that is the end of the first mock interview. What did you think, Alex?
I think you did a great job. For our listeners, I want to point out how Amy handled the weakness question. This is a trap for many people. You should never say, I don't have a weakness, and you should never say something truly negative like, I am always late. Also, did you notice how Amy structured her first answer? She talked about her past, her present, and then her future. She mentioned her degree, which is the past, her current job, which is the present, and then why she wants this job, which is the future.
Now, we should talk about the STAR method. I used it when Alex asked me about managing several tasks. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. It is a formula that helps you tell a story that is easy for the interviewer to follow. You describe the situation, explain the task you had to do, tell them exactly what action you took, and then finish with the positive result.
It is a very powerful tool. Now, let us shift gears. We are going to do a second mock interview. This one is for a more senior role. Amy will be the interviewer and I will be the candidate. I am applying for a position as a marketing manager for a tech company.
Okay, Alex. Good luck. Good afternoon, Alex. Thank you for coming in to see us. We have reviewed your resume and we're quite impressed with your background. To start off, could you describe your management style?
Thank you, Amy. It is a pleasure to be here. I would describe my management style as collaborative and results-driven. I believe that my job as a manager is to provide my team with the resources and the clear direction they need to succeed. I am not a micromanager. I like to give my team members autonomy and trust them to handle the responsibilities. However, I also believe in accountability. We have weekly check-ins to look at our data and make sure we are meeting our key performance indicators, or KPIs.
That sounds very effective. Can you tell me about a time when you had to lead your team through a significant challenge or a project that was not going well?
Certainly. At my previous company, we were launching a new software product. But 2 weeks before the launch, we realized that our main marketing message was not resonating with our target audience. The team was very stressed and morale was low. Instead of blaming anyone, I focused on the solution. We pivoted our strategy and created 3 new advertising campaigns in 48 hours. I worked alongside the team to show support. In the end, the launch was a success, and we exceeded our initial sales targets by 15%.
That shows great adaptability. But why do you want to leave your current role and why join us specifically?
I have enjoyed my time at my current firm, and I am proud of the growth we achieved. However, I feel that I have reached the point where I am looking for a larger challenge. Your company is at the forefront of the industry, and I have been very impressed by your recent expansion into the European market. I believe that my experience in international marketing and my ability to scale teams would be a great asset to your company.
Finally, Alex, how do you handle conflict within your team?
I believe in addressing conflict directly but privately. If 2 team members are having a disagreement, I sit down with them individually to understand their perspectives. Then I bring them together to find a common ground that focuses on the goals of the project rather than personal feelings.
Thank you, Alex. We have a few more candidates to see, but we will get back to you by the end of the week.
And we are back in the workshop. Amy, how was I as a candidate?
You were very convincing, Alex. You used a lot of great business vocabulary. I heard words like micromanager, autonomy, accountability, and pivot. These are words that show you are an experienced professional.
I also used a very important technique called the positive pivot. When Amy asked why I was leaving my job, I didn't say anything bad about my old company. Even if you have a terrible boss, you should never complain about them in an interview. It makes you look unprofessional. Instead, I said that I had learned a lot but was looking for a larger challenge.
That is such an important point. The interview is about your future, not your past complaints. One other thing I noticed was your body language. Even though this is a podcast, I could hear the confidence in your voice. You didn't use many filler words like or like.
That comes with practice. One tip for our listeners is to record yourself on your phone. Ask yourself a question and record the answer. It is a bit painful to listen to yourself at first, but it is the fastest way to get better.
I agree. Another tip is to do your research. Before you go into an interview, you should know the company's mission, their recent news, and who their competitors are.
Also, don't forget the power of asking questions at the end. When the interviewer asks if you have any questions for them, never say no. It makes you look like you don't care.
We have covered so much today. We talked about the STAR method, how to answer the weakness question, how to stay positive, and the importance of professional vocabulary. We have also seen how different the language can be between a junior and a senior role.
I hope this has been helpful for everyone. Job interviews are never easy, but with preparation and practice, they become much less scary.
Exactly. And remember that everyone makes mistakes. If you mess up a word or a sentence during an interview, don't panic. Just correct yourself and move on.
Well, that is all we have time for today on the English Workshop. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
We would also love to hear from you. Have you had a job interview in English? What was the hardest question you were asked? Leave a comment below and share your experience.
Thank you again for spending your time with us. We wish you the best of luck with your careers and your English studies.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and stay curious. Have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.